Hello everyone, it's me Nancy Finch doing another Tea with Nan on a Monday at 12 o'clock. Welcome. It's a bit blustery out there today. The sun was shining a minute ago, but I'm very grateful anyway. I hope you're having a good Monday. I'm waiting for a few people to come on here and I can join you with a cup of tea or coffee or whatever you're drinking and send you a nice Monday hug. So it is a very lovely breezy day. It's going to blow away the cobwebs, isn't it? So today's Tea with Nan, and if you missed this, of course, you can catch up later. But today's Tea with Nan is all about life triggers. So someone's joined us already on here. So whoever you are, happy Monday and lots of love to you. Okay, so life triggers. Well, that's quite a big one, isn't it, really? A lot of people I know, especially recently, with the new moon and all sorts of aspects around them, changes going on. It's very triggering. Some things that happen are really triggering their emotion. Hi, Sheila. Happy hugs to you. Happy Monday hugs. Nice that you're here, darling. So we all get triggered. Everybody gets triggered. We all do. We can't help it. We've got emotions. Emotions, something happens around us. It triggers an old feeling that we've had stored inside us. I always think it's a bit like having a pool and you've got a big, load of water, clear water. You think it's clear and you think you've dealt with everything in life. Oh, hi, Julie. Lovely that you're here, sweet. Happy Monday hugs to you, darling. Thank you. I think we said that at the same time. So we think, we deal with life on a day-to-day basis, but that pool, imagine, oh, hi, Val, lovely to see you. Happy Monday to you, sweetheart. So go back to that pool again. You imagine you've got clear water and you've settled it. You can see right into the pond or the pool. But if you get a life stick being some situation, someone says something, some trigger, and you imagine that you stir that pool up. This is your subconscious we're talking about, metaphorically. We're stirring that pond up. Well, all the muck from the bottom of the pond comes to the top, doesn't it? Hi, Val. That's lovely. Thank you. Hi, Annie. So you've got a situation, someone said something, someone's done something, and they've stirred those feelings that have been sitting at the bottom of your pond. We're talking about the subconscious, aren't we? So there we go, stirring it all up, and suddenly, out of nowhere, comes these feelings that we thought we dealt with. It might be self-judgment, it might be sadness, anger. Those things are all triggers, aren't they? We have good triggers as well. Of course we do. We see something lovely and we feel that loveliness, and that's a nice trigger too, isn't it? But what we're really talking about here is the triggers that hold us back. We have triggers all the time around us. We watch something on the news, someone says something, hear a story, and they're all triggers. So we've got to be mindful those triggers don't hurt you in some way on a physical or emotional level. So think about that. I mean, we have them. If we don't judge them, then we're in charge of them. We're in control of them. But we have them in every day of our lives. We have triggers. But it's how we handle them, how we take control of what that's making us feel. So we're holding that trigger up. Whatever that feeling is, I'm aware of this. This is making me feel. That is our opportunity to heal ourselves on a deeper level. That, in a way of dealing with it. Oh, hi, Anita. Thank you for joining us. Happy Monday. So by dealing with that, by taking control of that, by understanding it and holding that feeling up to yourself, you are giving yourself a chance to heal it. On all sorts of levels, on a physical level, on a chakra level that I always talk about, the little chakra man here. You get yourself a chance to heal yourself from those past experiences. So it's a bit like every time you're aware of a trigger, you're putting a filter into your pond and you're cleaning up all that stuff that normally comes to the surface with that trigger. It's a nice way of looking at it. What's stirring my pond? And another thing called orange juice here. It's the same sort of thing I will reference later, but it's about how something invokes a feeling in us, gives us the opportunity to deal with it, to heal ourselves on a deeper level, and by the law of attraction, not going to order more of the same thing we don't want. We don't want that feeling. We don't want that trigger. So we've got to be aware of it to change it. Otherwise, it keeps coming back round and round and round again, and you'll have that over and over again without fail, definitely. The law of attraction's done that to me all my life. So, oh, hi, Anita. What a lovely name you have. So be aware of what triggers you, what brings up that feeling. I've had, from my childhood, I've got a little board here with loads written on it. I hardly say any of it really. But my story as a child, I had quite a challenging childhood, as most people would know, and I'm quite pleased with it. Oh, well, hi Kerry, lovely you're here, darling. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a good day. So, childhood, for instance, for me, okay, it's just one of the things I want to talk about, but I had quite a challenging childhood. So when I would see something lovely, like someone having a wonderful childhood, my inner child would have a reaction to that because she wanted that. And it's only when later on I realized that was a chance to give myself the love that I needed. And it was so healing. It was lovely. Oh, hi, Kelly. Lovely to see you, darling. Kelly Clark's on. So it gave me a chance. Every time I saw something that made me go, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I had a childhood, actually. So whatever you're wishing for, you're feeling and reacting from, take that and realize it's a chance to heal yourself. If it was a childhood experience, then heal yourself with that trigger. You know, if there's something going on, then just be objective, be a parent to yourself. Give yourself what you need, what you would have liked to have had. Once you're aware of that missing thing, the thing you lack or the thing you didn't get, give yourself that love to heal it, to forgive yourself or someone else for a situation maybe. I will go further on to that, and I'm all over the place on this board at the moment, but if you think about it, we can all grow in ourselves from those triggers if we're aware of them. Now, I think every day is a school day, like I've said many times, but if we think about that objectively, what we learn, then we are able to transform those feelings. So I'll give you a funny story. As I say, as a child, I had lots of stuff going on that would, you know, as an adult, think, oh, I wish I had that, I wish I had that. It made me a better mother because of it, most of the time, because I'd give myself what I was lacking, stability, continuity, you know, constant love, that sort of thing I'd give to my children because I didn't get it. So that was, lots of positives came out of the negative, okay? And I was able to then help to heal my inner child through those experiences. But this is a really funny, well, it's a funny story. It's amusing to me because what I didn't realize is I had a trigger that was right at the bottom of the pond. I had no idea. And I'm going to share that story with you now, just so that you can perhaps take something from that and maybe relate to it in some way. That it surprised me what came up from the bottom of the pond. I thought I was having a really happy, jolly day. This is only a couple of weeks ago and a week ago or so. And I went to the shop. And I had to return this dress. So I'm listening to all these people, the children are around with the parents, and, you know, they run through shops. And this particular woman, she had a boy about 7 and a girl about sort of 6 or 5. She looked like she was a lovely mum, but she was having trouble with the boy because he was racing around and being naughty and pushing things off, and he was behaving badly. And she was embarrassed by it, bless her. I've been there. I know that feeling. So there she was. Oh, hi Grace, it's nice to see you. So she was walking past and someone walked past her and looked down a bit sort of judgmental, and she apologized to this man, said, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I could see that she was having a hard time with the boy. Anyway, the boy goes and does something else that's naughty over here, and suddenly she said to him, as she looked across, she asked him to come down from what he was doing, and oh, thanks Grace. So she asked him to stop it, his bad behaviour. And then she said these words. She said to him, make good choices. Wow. I thought, wow, what a powerful thing to say to her child, make good choices. And the child stopped. And I had to, without even realising it, realised I was really triggered, went straight over to her. And I said, excuse me. And she went, what? A bit shy. And I said, I've got to tell you something. You are a wonderful mother. You are a really good mum. And she looked at me in surprise and said, I don't feel it. I said, but you are. You really are. I said, what you've just said to your son was amazing. You told him to make good choices. Wow, I said, that's fantastic. You're amazing. And the boy had just stopped watching us as he listened to my words, and everyone around heard it. But to my surprise, I didn't know this was going to happen to me. I was just going over trying to support her. I had no idea that this feeling was going to be invoked. I was going to be major triggered. As I was telling her she was a great mum, I felt my eyes welling up. I felt tears in my eyes. I thought, oh, what's this? So I quickly said, you know, the rest of it, well done, you know, for being such a great mum. And the tears are in my eyes, and I'm thinking, okay, something's just falling off. So I thought, right, I better disappear. So I ran away. It was so funny. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, tears. Then I thought, why are those tears there? Now, it's okay to be, when you're aware of those feelings, as I say, you're holding them up. Why was I triggered? What was the reason? And I realized that when my children were young, I had a difficult time trying to be the best mum. I never thought I was good enough. And most mums can relate to this. I was tired or whatever. And I remember being in a shop once with my son and my daughter. And I wasn't having a good time, and I didn't handle it the same way as I'd handle it now. I was reactive and frustrated and tired. So I was kind of telling him off, my son. Anyway, this man had said to me many years ago, as he looked at me trying to calm my son down, he said, that's not being a good mother. That's not going to help the situation. And I remember feeling really hurt and misunderstood. And I realized the frustration I had within me of not being the person I'd like to be at that time. So I put it to one side. Of course, where did it go? It went to the bottom of the pond, didn't it? And I had no idea that it was still laying there. Until I saw this wonderful woman with her child and her telling him to make good choices. It was amazing. What a great opportunity. Yes, I felt these feelings come to the surface, but it gave me a chance to give myself love and compassion and I told my little Nan, my inner child, I said to myself, you did what you could with the tools you had at the time. And now I know I'm a great mum. I know I'm a really good mum. I'm satisfied with what I am to my children now. They're growing up. I know I'm a good mum. But I've got to go back into my mind and say to that experience and say, I did what I could. Every day is different and everything's meant to be as it is. Everyone learns gifts out of it. But I learned a lot from that trigger. And I also learned not to have self-judgment, didn't I? If I judge myself on perhaps not being as good as a mum over there or whatever, the story I'm telling you now, I have an opportunity to not judge myself here, to put that away, chuck it in the bucket, to feel my worth as a person and to give myself compassion and forgiveness. But most of all, to show myself love. Because now that pond is clearer, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? The pond is clearer. To be aware of our triggers gives us total control if we're aware of them and not being afraid of those feelings, but to look down upon them and realize that I need to give myself compassion and love for this situation. Whatever triggers you, you need to heal. And as you heal yourself, you heal your heart, your soul. It goes straight to the green chakra. Helps your immune system as well when you do this. But when you're aware, everything benefits your mind. I felt so happy after the experience, by the way. If anything triggers me with an ouch or, oh, I don't know, or he says something or she says something, or that wasn't how I wanted to be, that situation makes me feel, then I realize, I dissect it. Why am I feeling that? Where did this come from? And then I heal it. Then I forgive myself. Or maybe someone else as well if you need to, but it's not always that easy. I have got a talk on that perhaps can ease you into that a little bit easier. But to recognize it, to recognize your triggers will give you a chance to heal and to be better, to be lighter from it, and not to keep attracting those triggers, more of those into your life. For instance, if you judge yourself for not being enough and someone or situation makes you feel that again, I've got plenty of friends who have this, and myself as well. If I do something and I think, well, I did that, but that was wrong and that wasn't great, and I could be as good as that person, self-judgment can come up through perhaps the trigger of fear, and I'm frightened I'm not good enough. Well, where did that come from? Okay, I'm going to give myself reassurance. I'm going to give myself courage. I'm going to pretend I have the things that I was lacking, perhaps. Well, put your crown on, as I like to say. There was another talk I did, wear your crown. Own yourself. Perhaps support yourself with those feelings. It gives you a chance to grow from them and filter from those triggers. So there's loads of examples, of course. It could be the way someone looks at you or the way they talk to you, and that triggers a feeling in you. Someone says something to you. You've all got triggers, and let's not be afraid of them. Let's just imagine that when we're triggered, it's our opportunity to support ourselves on a deeper level. And to collective consciousness too, I always go on about that, as you know. But as we heal ourselves from those triggers, other people are seeing and feeling the result from that directly from you. They feel the vibe, they feel the inspiration of your change. And then collective consciousness will make sure, as you work on yourself, you put that vibe into the world and everybody gets a chance to work on themselves, somehow evolving from triggers. So it's worth doing it for lots of reasons, as I've said. You will feel better. So I'm just looking at my board. I'm just thinking about different ways that we're triggered. We get triggered in our work. We get triggered in our lives in so many ways. Our families, relationships. Oh yes, relationships are great triggers, aren't they? They trigger a feeling inside you. You know, they trigger stuff that you thought you dealt with. You know, if you've been in a fearful place, I'll give you another example. A fearful place all your life, like I was as a child. Fear is always anger. It's the opposite of it. It's like a two-way thing. If you're frightened of something, you're afraid, then you're also angry. You're angry because you're afraid. So anyone that's angry is really frightened of not being in control of that situation. So whenever I was dealing with anger that was coming out of nowhere from the bottom of my pond, I would then have to say, right, what am I afraid of? What can I give myself to take away that feeling? I'll just love myself. I'll love me. I'll support me. I'll give myself the strength I need to get through that or to heal that. So, but love is a very simple way of healing it. It is really easy with love. You don't really have to understand all your triggers. Some people say, well, I get this feeling, but I don't know what to do with it. Just think to yourself, I heal myself with love. That's just a nice thing you can do. Your subconscious, which is 95% as we talk about, will take that instruction. I heal myself with love. It's an intention you're giving yourself. So if something is stirred up from the bottom of your pond, simply give yourself love to heal it. Imagine you're just wiping it clean. You're washing yourself, your soul, of that experience. You need to give yourself love and healing and compassion. I found that was my biggest trigger. That what I talked about recently with a lady and her son. That biggest trigger was my opportunity to say compassion. The biggest feeling I had was compassion for me. And I thought I didn't know that was missing. I didn't know I didn't have that. But with more compassion, you heal yourself every day. Compassion for you did what you could in that moment at that time. And now is a different time, a different day. And with awareness of our triggers, we can overcome those things. We cannot let them hold us back. They won't have the power to do that. Those feelings, those triggers, because you're being objective and because you're being intentional. And that's everything. If you think about everything that's ever happened, like I do with my past and my relationships, the toxic relationships that have made me grow, self-value, etc. If I look at all of those and I hold them up as we like, objectively. Oh, there's that feeling coming from that person, or that he said that, or she said that, whatever. I tend to think it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. If I can take away the emotion from it and the reaction, that makes it easier for me to be objective. So if I say it isn't good or bad, I'm not judging it. I'm just going to hold it up and see where I can give myself something good from it. That's the nice way of changing how it affects you. And one of the NAN talks I've got, which is on my website, www.nancyfinch.co.uk, it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is one of the things I'm talking about now. If you want to understand that a bit more, of being objective and not being reactive, which is where the secret is to holding it up, it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is on the 8th of the 4th, 23. Okay. Oh no, that's in Tea with Nans. Sorry, in Tea with Nans. So you go on the website. Nan talks are color coded, but Tea with Nans aren't. So we've got Tea with Nan. It isn't a good or bad thing, it just is on the 8th of the 4th, 23. Some people know this as a farmer's story I go on about. Another one of Tea with Nans is supporting your inner child. That's really good. And that's what we're doing, isn't it? We're supporting ourselves in a fragile place of ourselves. It's not, you know, I hold my tummy when I hold this because our emotions usually are here in our stomach, aren't they? So supporting your inner child is the 19th of the 12th, 22. Nice way to go with, you know, to listen to this, to think about how you can support your inner child. So those triggers are one way of supporting your inner child to heal, and a filter in your pond, isn't it? Another one we've got is a Tea with Nan is forgiveness. Not always easy, but if you can forgive yourself, there's a start, isn't there? When the more you forgive yourself, the more you're able to forgive someone else. And that's on the 14th of the 11th, 22. That's a really nice one too. What I meant by the Nan talks, I've got a note here. There's only one of those I'm referencing, and that is on the orange section. So Nan talks are pre-recorded usually. The exercises that help to support whatever we're talking about. So if you go onto the orange area of that Chakra Man on my website, you'll find the Nan Talk orange juice. Now, most people that know me know about this. When you squeeze an orange, all you get is orange juice because that's what's inside. And it's about how You take the metaphor to yourself and you realize whatever's squeezing a reaction out of you, it's not actually he, she, them, or that that's causing it. It's always been in the bottom of your pond. It's always been inside you. It's just been stored down there. One experience after another gets stored, and down it goes. And we don't want to look at that feeling. No, I'm not going to do that. And down it goes. But if we're not careful and we keep doing this, yes, we appear to have clear water. But if you get a life stick, like I said, and you swish it round, the life stick being some challenge, some situation, some person's comment, something around you that's invoked a feeling, it's a bit like stirring that up, and up it comes to the surface. And there's your opportunity to clean it up, to be a filter for yourself. I like to say all these talks are filters, all these things I give out are filters that I've had to create for myself. So when you pick up a feeling that, oh, I feel this, that's your, don't run away from it, hold it up. Realize it's been sitting at the bottom of your pond and it needs healing. It needs to be dealt with. Otherwise it settles back down. If we don't do it, there it goes, down it goes again, until the next life stick. And we find ourselves bringing that feeling back to the surface again to be healed if we are brave enough to do it. And all you have to do is think, yeah, I can do it with love. I can do it with love for myself. That bravery will come naturally if you can love yourself. You'll just naturally support yourself. Imagine supporting that tiny part of you. So important. So think about it. Be objective. Be interested in what people are saying around you and doing around you that triggers you. And just imagine you put the pause button on a video or something and you're going to say, right, okay, just for a minute, I'm going to stop reacting. I'm going to think, what am I feeling and where did that come from? Now, if you don't know, of course, there's professional people that can help you with it. But if you are aware, like I was, of that memory, a memory triggered me and I didn't even know it was down there. I'm very grateful for that experience. I think, wow, I'm happy to tell everybody. Why not? Because there's nothing shameful about being triggered. There's no self-judgment issues here. We all have feelings. We all feel we're not enough sometimes. That could be triggered. So deal with that feeling. You are enough. Love yourself enough to know that you are enough. And whatever triggers you, heal it with love. That's the best thing I can say. Maybe measure 1 to 10. How much are you triggered? Well, I could definitely say I was triggered 10 the other day because I had that feeling of tears and reaction and wow, that was strong. So I would say that was a 10. Well, that gave me 10 out of 10 healing, didn't it? If you only reacted a little bit, that's good to deal with too. But it's the bigger the measurement of your reaction, the bigger the trigger, the bigger the healing. And I put that on there, especially for you to recognize. So just remember that. Don't be scared of your triggers. Don't be afraid of them. You know, if you feel anger comes up, where did this fear come from? What do I not feel in control of? And just dissect it a little bit in your own mind. And if you can't do that, just give yourself love. And that's all that really matters. So, I mean, I'd love you to share this, guys, with other people because it's so important to recognize it's okay to have a negative feeling come to the surface. It's your chance to heal. Self-judgment. You know, we judge it. I know a lot of people that judge themselves quite hard. You know, the more they try to be the best version of themselves, they might feel they failed or yeah. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Katie. You're on here, darling. Hope you can catch up. So whatever is triggered in us, whatever negative emotion, whatever's it can hold us back, let's not allow it. Oh, thank you, Val. I'm glad you liked today because we all have triggers, don't we? I've had so many of them. It usually invokes, if you can build up that love, compassion, it usually invokes some kind of change, some kind of growth within yourself. And one day you'll look back at yourself and you go, that used to trigger me. That used to make me feel. You know, the orange juice is going to be great if you can get onto that talk in the Nan Talks. If you can get onto that, that will show more of what I'm talking about here. But what a great opportunity. You'll look back on yourself and you'll think, I did that. I no longer get triggered by that or that. I'm in control of that feeling because I feel somehow I've grown from it. I'm objective. I'm cleaner. My soul can breathe without that feeling. So working on yourself is always a good thing. It helps other people around you. It helps your friends and family. Families benefit from your growth. As you evolve, you're less stressed maybe, or less reactive, more objective, maybe just not as tired, maybe more energy. Lots of good things can come from just working on love for yourself. So think about your triggers. They're not always going to be like mine. Mine was obviously, I obviously felt at the time I wasn't a good mother. I do know I'm a good mum now. But the point is, it's something that, it doesn't mean it's true what you're feeling. It just, I mean, the negative trigger you're feeling, it doesn't mean that's true in any way. It just means that that's how you're feeling. And it could be a whole load of different feelings at the bottom of your pond that made you react. So be interested. Don't be involved again to feel that feeling, oh, I'm overwhelmed by it. Instead, hold it up and think, what can I give myself from this? I can give myself compassion or kindness or love or understanding or wisdom of knowing why. More and more good feelings can come from that. So, and I'm evidence from it because I do it all the time. If I find there's a trigger, I just simply go back into myself and give myself that love I need. And it's less likely to attract again, by the way. You're less likely to experience it again. It's worth doing it for that. And as I say, your body needs to have that bonus here because it's an immune system. And right now you all need your immune systems boosted, don't you? Ready for the winter, the autumn and the winter and everything that's going on. People are sort of not always well, are they? So you need that one boosted. Every time you get a trigger, you can boost your heart chakra, this area, with love. So I think I've talked for ages today. I think I've covered everything on my board. Don't be afraid of your triggers. Hold them up. They can be healed. You've just got to learn trust. You can only do that when you start to connect with yourself with love. Trust that you can heal from those triggers. If something brings an emotion to the surface, just remember that pond needs a filter, and all you have to do is filter it with love. Filter it with love and kindness and compassion. Oh, thank you, Julie. I think you've enjoyed today. That's lovely. If I can be an inspiration in any way, even just by example of what I've learned from myself this week, that makes my day. If you can share this with other people, it could make their day. You never know. It might be just at the right moment they need to hear it. So share it with everyone and give yourself a big hug from me and have lots of compassion for yourself and kindness. Okay, you take care. I shall be back next week. I already know what I'm talking about next week. It's about keeping everything simple. Yes. Oh, thank you, Annie. Thank you for the hearts, guys. That was lovely. Keeping everything simple. That's going to be next week's talk. I've got it all ready for you. It's going to be great. So join me for next week, Monday at 12 o'clock live. And please look at the talks I suggested. Go to my website, enjoy the meditations, or everything's free. And please share this with other people. As I say, it means a lot right now. Right. Namaste moments. I shall see you next week. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. Bye.